Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is a speed build for our Lucid Let's Play for the Generation 2, and this is a speed build for Lara. So if you haven't checked out my Lucid Legacy Let's Play, please try and do it. I will link it in the description below. But we are currently in our Generation 2 playthrough of this particular legacy challenge, and I am finally building Lara's new apartment, or I should say penthouse. Now, as I've said already, this is for my Generation 2. So Lara is our Generation 2 heir, and she started off in the Spice District, and it was a TLC apartment. Like, she renovated it. It's really cute. I really liked building that apartment. It's very homey, but because of the lot trait, because of the TLC lot trait, it's just making it difficult, not just for Lara to enjoy being at home, but it's actually making it difficult for me when I play with her. So Lara's generation is all about content creating. She's a YouTube creator. She started off as a streamer, and she kind of got into the highest level of that particular part-time career, and she's moved on from that to being a proper YouTube creator, like a full-time content creator. And compared to the rest of her family, so Lara is the eldest of Arlo and Rory's children, and she's got a sister and a brother, so Natalia and Desmond. And in regards to that, she is the kind of like the black sheep of the family. She grew up in a ranch, and instead of loving the outdoors, she didn't really vibe with that. She usually just stays in their ranch playing with her video games and programming. So for her to feel uncomfortable and tense every single time she was in the apartment, so obviously when she aged up, she moved to San Myshuno. So for her to be tense all the time, it's really not great. It's really not great for someone who would spend time in front of the computer, which she absolutely loves. She loves creating videos. But as soon as she enters her door, like, it's just gone, because she knows that sometimes she would have wires exposed. She would have roaches kind of like roaming on the kitchen tiles, and she would have mice just running around the floor. And unfortunately, if you've kind of played and built on that particular lot, you can't actually change it. Like, that lot trait, it's there, it's permanent. And obviously, as you know, like at the start she was okay with it, but then it was just getting to a point where I was getting stressed, because as much as I kind of want to show on my episodes that I would like Lara to be making videos, you know, she can't do that, and we're spending more time outside just because she doesn't want to be indoors. And she met Nathaniel, who is her neighbor, and they kind of like really hit it off. I actually thought that they weren't going to. I mean, I was kind of shipping them from the beginning. And Nathaniel is one of my friend's sims, so Cozy Simmer actually created that sim for this particular Let's Play, and I was really rooting for them. I was shipping them, and I thought that they weren't going to hit it off, but then when they actually went on a proper date, like a get to know you date, they did. And to the point where it was very quick, and Nathaniel just kind of like said to Lara, hey, what do you think about me moving into your place? Like, it's literally just an apartment away. And Lara was like, yeah, sure, why not? But then Nathaniel is a painter, and I'm gonna say, I can't remember now because it's been a while since I've played with him. I am pretty sure that he loves being indoors as well. And again, it's not great, because similar to Lara, he was just getting really tense every time he was in the apartment. And during, I think it would have been the second or the third episode, Lara actually became my very first sim to ever win the lottery. So Lara has actually won the lottery, but for storyline purposes, I wasn't really going to kind of create that penthouse already, because I think it would have already just been the third or the fourth episode, because what I originally wanted is to kind of like work through her career and then progress. So as soon as she kind of like progressed towards her career, then it would be suitable for her to have a penthouse, because she has earned so much money. She becomes famous from all of her videos. I think it was fitting for her to then have the penthouse. But because she was a lottery winner very, very early on, there was even a comment on my YouTube, and she's like, I think the comment was like, oh, I think she deserves that penthouse. And I totally agree, but I was really just kind of like putting a delay on building the penthouse. Then during the last episode, we found out that Lara is pregnant with her first child, and it was then where I'm just like, yep, yeah, we can't raise a child in this condition, in this apartment, and I would want to raise the child, or Lara would want to raise the child when she's not overly tense and uncomfortable every single time she steps into the apartment, you know. So I'm like, yep, okay, I am hearing it, I'm going to build the penthouse, and hence the speed build. And if you've followed me, if you're subbed to my channel, you know how in every single speed build that I put out, I would most likely tell everyone that I am a very, very slow builder, and I usually take days to kind of complete a build. And I think I get really, really intimidated because, to be honest, I started off as someone who would build in The Sims, and then creating the Let's Play was the last thing that I ever did in regards to The Sims, in regards to the world of The Sims. So, but I think I've just been doing Let's Plays for so long, and I hardly do builds, that I get really intimidated when I start a build. But I am actually happy how this turned out, and this would be the first build that I ever did, maybe for a long time, where I actually did not have any inspiration at all, everyone. I didn't have any photos that I searched up on Pinterest. I didn't have any of that. All I know is, of course, that Lara and Nathaniel would move to the arts district. It would be a penthouse. I kind of already knew that it would be the Fountainview Penthouse where they're going to be staying in. And I also knew that, yep, she's gonna have kind of like her own creative space, like her proper office. And because of Nathaniel being in her life now, I also knew that I wanted to give Nathaniel his own space. And the only other thing that I kind of knew before going into this build was that I am going to use custom content. Now, it's funny, everyone, I have custom content for like the CAS part of The Sims as well as the speed build portion. And in regards to the CAS, I would always use it whenever I am dressing up my Sims, like the hair, the clothes, the skin details, everything like that. But to be honest, this would be the first proper build where I actually used custom content. Now, I haven't downloaded any recent custom content at all, so the stuff that I've used here, I'm pretty sure it would have been like custom content that I downloaded maybe 2 years ago or a year ago. So I was actually getting really, really excited when I was building this penthouse and when I was furnishing it. Mind you, I was still very, very nervous because I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know what the floor plan will be. I don't know how I'm going to do this. And I don't know if it's kind of like the same to everyone else who builds or who doesn't build as regularly as they would probably like, but it's so intimidating, especially because it's not like I'm building a tiny penthouse. Like it's a pretty significant size, but you would see that it's kind of really definitely changed from what Lara's apartment currently looks like. And I think this is a bit more sophisticated, and there's I think there is some industrial elements to it, but there's also pops of color. I actually really like doing that, especially if it's an industrial build. I do like putting some pops of color. And on that screen that you're seeing now, that is actually her office. So you've kind of got, of course, you've got the kitchen, you've got the living room and the dining room. And I kind of have two living rooms. You've got like your formal living room, which is just there with the fireplace. And this is her own space. This is Lara's own space, and I really like it. And I've even given her kind of like a balcony area as well with a, what's that called? Like, it's not a jacuzzi. Is it a jacuzzi? I actually forgot what's it called in the actual game, but you'll see it because you'll see me kind of like move on from this office to that particular space. But I had so much fun kind of like furnishing her area because I feel like this is where her personality would shine through. I even put in the ranch, the horse kind of like sculpture in the background, or painting, I think, and it's just kind of like a nod to her ranch childhood, to her mom and dad, you know. And I mean, it doesn't have a whole lot of colors, but I don't know, I think it's just, I don't know, I'm so happy with how this turned out. And yeah, and I know that this is one of the things that I needed to have for this apartment, and I think this would be one of my favorites to furnish. I would say I have maybe three areas in this penthouse that that I was really happy with how it turned out. So this is her balcony area, and I actually gave her and Nathaniel, like, they're both of their own private space. They've got their own balcony as well, because I thought you are absolutely going to take full advantage of the view in San Myshuno, especially if you're living in the penthouse, like at the tallest part of the building. So I really wanted her to give her that space, and I think it would help as well being a full-time content creator. I mean, she's always indoors, but hey, you know, maybe there would be times during the day where she's like, hey, I've kind of had enough, I'm gonna kind of sit on my balcony area and just kind of chill. And I've actually given her that as well. There is going to be, I did show it, there's going to be kind of like a little coffee table just there outside where she can chill and maybe try and get some inspiration, have a bit of fresh air as well. Now, the backyard, I'm going to say backyard, but imagine me saying that with quotation marks, is actually the other area that I enjoyed furnishing. Again, I was using custom content, and I think I was just super excited to finally use that custom content. And I think it was the organic pack by Harry and Felixander, I think. And I was also excited to be using some of the things from the French Riviera kit pack? I can't remember, but most of it is from the CC pack. And I was excited. I think I actually wanted like a kind of like a longer pool as well, but then I wasn't able to do it because I think it would overhang at the bottom. It doesn't really make sense. I don't think I'm explaining it right, but basically the game wasn't letting me kind of have like a longer pool. And I really wanted to kind of play with the platforms because I don't use it often enough, and I feel like when I do use it, it's very, very basic. But again, it wasn't letting me. But I thought, hey, you know what, I think this would be a nice touch to have the platform kind of like at the edge and kind of give my Sims somewhere to relax and kind of tan, you know, under the sun. So I really like that. You're also, now that I've noticed it, there are certain areas in this penthouse that I don't show in this particular speed build. So overlooking, is it overlooking? Yeah, because you've got the kitchen there in the dining room, which obviously you've seen because I did include that in the speed build portion. But I have also given them a gym and a space where they could kind of like meditate and practice yoga. I say that because I knew that I wanted to give them that kind of space because Lara doesn't really like wellness. She's into fitness and she actually discovered that for herself. And Nathaniel loves the meditation and the yoga part, the wellness, and not so much the fitness. So I again wanted them to give that, I wanted to give them that kind of space in their penthouse. That is also a mini bar which I've just put in that you guys have probably seen, and it's a CC mini bar because I realized that I didn't have any space for like to put a barbecue or to put a bar in, and having that, I'm really hoping that it would actually work, would be great for them. So they've got kind of like a proper entertainment space. So they've got kind of like the living area in the back, in their backyard, as well as a dining area. And then I was so excited using this pergolas from the CC, and you could see me putting it there, and then when I would go inside, I'm just like, oh great, like you could actually see it. So I ended up kind of increasing their heights, like what I'm doing there now. And in my head, I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm just going to pretend that it's sturdy enough, like it's properly built on the actual building itself. Now, there is so this is Lara and Nathaniel's room, and I've given them an ensuite as well. And at the ground floor, there is also a family bathroom. Like there's a huge family bathroom there. And there's a corridor leading to Lara's office, and I've kind of put the laundry in there as well. But this is, like I said, Lara and Nathaniel's room, and I was actually struggling because again I was looking at all of my CC. I'm just like, oh, like there's so many new things that I haven't obviously used before, and I don't think I showed it to you, but there's like pieces of headboard that I wanted to use, but then it just wasn't sitting right with me, so I kind of scrapped that off, and I'm just like, you know what, I'm gonna go with a simple like side tables from the Horse Ranch expansion pack. And unfortunately, most of the beds from any of my CC, they weren't working properly, so I would try and put them, but then it would just kind of like disappear, like I won't see them. So I just ended up using a bed from the Horse Ranch expansion pack, and I'm gonna say it's again a nod to Lara's childhood and teenage years back in Chestnut Ridge. And then I also wanted to give her kind of like her own vanity space, vanity desk, because I think she would also kind of obviously make sure that she's looking nice and presentable in front of the camera. And ignore the painting that I've put on the wall where the vanity desk is, because I kept looking at it and I'm just like, no, it's really not her style. So I do change that up with another painting, I think from the Organic or maybe the Harlux CC, but I can't quite remember, but I do change it. I've given them kind of like a mini, like a radio as well. So basically this is just going to be a space, like it's a proper space where they can just relax. Like I didn't I think the only gameplay that they could do here is obviously sleep, relax, listen to music, and just put on makeup in front of the, what's it called, the vanity area. And yeah, I didn't want to put like any office or any mixed media production skill that she might do in this bedroom. It's really just a space for them to come, chill, and relax, you know. But I'm really happy how it turned out, despite me wanting to, like, getting really excited with all of the headboards that I was seeing. But yeah, so that's what I ended up using, and I'm pretty sure I've put in another painting as well. I'm really liking it, everyone, and I was just really happy to finally be using custom content. And then we're moving on to the kids room. Now this is a spoiler, so it's a spoiler alert, but it's very pink. Okay, it's very pink, and Lara and Nathaniel will actually be having a baby girl. I have no idea what name I'm going to name it just yet, but Generation 3 is all about music, and she loves music. She's gonna love music so much, but I don't think she's got the talent, if I'm not mistaken, but I don't know. I'm gonna see. I might change that up a bit. And I was actually very excited to use the new kit, like, I think, is it the storybook nursery kit or something like that? I was very excited to use it, but it didn't really go with the style of the house. Like, I think I would probably use it for my occult legacy challenge, most likely, but not in this particular legacy challenge. So in this one, I was using a whole lot of CC from the Tiny Travelers pack, and they are so pretty. I think the Tiny Travelers may have been the first CC that I've ever downloaded, because I think I remember seeing it. I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so nice. And I think one of the YouTubers that I follow and watch ended up kind of like building something using the Tiny Travelers, and I got really inspired by it and just wanted to kind of download it for my game as well. Now, moving on from the bedroom is Nathaniel's space, and oh my gosh, everyone, I love this kit pack. I don't even know, I can't even remember what the name of the kit pack is, but it's one of the two that came out. So it was the storybook nursery one, and this is the art, anything to do with art, and I'm pretty sure I ended up using all, or if not all, then most of the stuff that came with that kit. And I love his space, so I'm going to pretend that most of this was either maybe in his apartment, or maybe it was in his parents' house, but then obviously he didn't have enough space in his old apartment to be able to bring all of this stuff in. But now that he's in this penthouse, why not, right? And I just love using the colorway of where it's just splattered with paint. I just love that particular detail. I love that, yeah. And I have a tendency to kind of like put everything with it, like near the walls of the room, and then I would find myself kind of figuring out like, oh, like what am I gonna do in the middle? And so I kind of changed that. So I end up moving the, oh my gosh, I actually forgot what that's called, the place where they would paint. Oh my gosh, I actually forgot, everyone. I'm so sorry about that. But I end up moving that to the middle of the room, and kind of like having another piece of furniture with all of his paints and paintbrushes near it as well. So then it's kind of giving, it's like organized chaos in my in my eyes, and I really love that about it. And I ended up putting like splashes of colors, yeah, and this is something that came with that kit as well, like on the floor. And again, I wanted to utilize the balcony, because why would you not use, or why would you not kind of like, you know, like you're in this penthouse, you've got this view, so use it, right? So I ended up putting another one of those things where you could paint. I don't know why I'm going blank with the name of that particular piece of equipment, but I ended up doing that for Nathaniel because I think he would kind of gather inspiration from the outside world, and it's such a nice way for him to be able to use the views of the city as a subject for any of his paintings. And of course, I've given him something to kind of chill as well, similar to what I did for Lara's personal space. And I really loved it. I really like how this turned out as well. So he's kind of got like a space indoors to paint and a space outdoors. And then everyone, we are kind of heading towards the end of the speed build portion. There will be screenshots towards the end, so please check them out. But this is just kind of like the landing area on the second floor, and I just wanted to do something like a bookcase and a space for them to, again, just to kind of chill and just trying to use the views of the city to their advantage. So I wanted to kind of give them a daybed, a bookcase where, yeah, they can just kind of lounge and chill. And I don't know whether you'll see me put kind of like a kind of like a couch or a sofa just within the railing there, kind of like overlooking again the views of the city and their backyard. But I do change that up for a chess table instead, because I completely forgot that Nathaniel loves logic. He loves playing chess, and I didn't give him that in his outdoor space. So I'm like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna put it here instead of another couch. They've got a daybed already anyway. So I really hope that you have enjoyed this speed build, everyone. I'm sorry that it's taken me a long time to kind of finish the build and release this, but we are in the screenshots portion of the build, and I really hope that you have enjoyed this as much as I've enjoyed building it, even though I was super nervous. So if you haven't already, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all into the next one. See ya. Bye.